And set number 4 is going to be on Akilon Waste. And taking a look in the upper left corner, the orange Zerg is going to be Soulkey, representing CJstars. His opponent in the bottom right, the blue Zerg for Captain of the Swarm, is S2.
Both of these guys, excellent players overall. Just they're solid, I'd say. Well, Moonjin Stars has such a deep team that it doesn't matter who they send out, but for SK Telecom, they have some good players, but I think S2 is definitely someone they can almost always rely on.
Let's talk a little bit about this matchup, ZvZ. Oh, we've got a fast pool going down for S2. Let's hold that thought. Meanwhile, Soulkey doing the extractor trick. Let's see how fast he gets his spawning pool down in comparison. But let's talk a little bit about ZvZ. Certainly, this is one of those matchups that have changed considerably, switching over from Wings of Liberty to Heart of the Swarm.
Definitely. Back in the Wings of Liberty era, we saw Roach Hydra, Roach Infester, Roach Hydra Infester, occasionally Broodlords late game. You would see...
We are going double hatch for Soulkey compared to a 10 pool for S2. This could be big trouble right now for Soulkey.
It looks like S2 wants to just end this really quickly for Captain of the Swarm and get out of there, because it is actually pretty late over here in Korea right now. So it looks like S2 wants the win, take that victory, get in the finals, and then go home and sleep.
Baneling Nest up right now for S2, while the extractor is just now on the way. No pool yet for Soulkey. There it is now at the 253 mark. While 6 Zerglings are already out for S2. The Overlord spots it. Soulkey with a grin, and he says, "Really?" in Korea. Chimchaga. Really? Really? And yeah, here come the Zerglings. The spawning pool not even halfway complete, while 6 Zerglings are already reaching his natural expansion. Baneling Nest already up. And really? Yes, really. 3 Banelings on their way. This is going to be over quick. And it's looking more and more like Captain of the Swarm is going to be going on to the finals. Here come the drones down, probably right when the Banelings hatch. Bad news for Soulkey. And, oh boy.
All right, well,
avoiding all of those drones that time. Baneling finds nothing at home.
Using the Baneling the Scout, essentially.
This match is over already, I think it's safe to say.
Well, I mean, we could see S2 just try to mess around with his opponent, like we just saw there. More Banelings are on the way here.
Wow, actually canceling the Banelings, S2 does. But this is going to be an ugly situation right now for Soulkey. No, it looks like he's going to allow him to hold off somewhat.
Well, actually, if you look at things, Soulkey has more drones. He has 2 hatcheries, so he's going to have the better economy. And S2, either he wins or loses here. There's really no other direction this can go.
It seems safe to say that S2 has allowed Soulkey to continue in this game, though.
Oh, definitely. He could have easily used a Baneling detonation on all of those drones, or even saved it for extra Zerglings that may have came out, and just simply ended the game there.
Yeah, I think when Soulkey was writing, really? 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 I think when he put that, S2 probably looked at that and said, okay, I feel bad. I'll give you a chance. And it seems like that's exactly what he's done here. He's allowing him a chance to get back into this game, and perhaps things evening out a little bit now. Oh, also a couple more Banelings that are not going to be spotted by Soulkey. Soulkey currently supply blocked after losing an Overlord to that Queen at his base.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you look at things, Soulkey, it looks like he's managed to stabilize here, and actually, I think he's a little bit ahead right now.
Well, he doesn't have anything in his main base, which those Banelings are going to be disappointed to see. Scouting with the Banelings inside the main. And we'll see if Soulkey's going to do a counterattack to get back in this. Losing a couple of drones to that Baneling.
Getting a few larvae there. We do have a Roachborn on the way for Soulkey, while Zergling speed being researched by S2 here, so I think Soulkey may try to do a little bit of economic damage with these Zerglings, and I think S2 is just trying to bide his time until the roaches come out, but that's actually a pretty high amount of Zerglings here from Soulkey.
Trying to go after these drones is Soulkey. The drone count was pretty much even before, and actually S2 does a good job of holding on to as many drones as possible in that last exchange.
Yeah, and now even though S2 has access to the Roach Warren, it doesn't look... Oh, I'm sorry, actually S2 is going for the speed, excuse me.
Meanwhile, Soulkey working on Burrow right now.
Interesting getting the Burrow. I think that that combined with the Roaches, they're going to pretty much be invincible early on in the game here.
Certainly invisible.
Invisible and invincible, but unable to attack while burrowed.
Well, S2, meanwhile, is expanding to his natural, while Soulkey's had his expansion up for quite some time. Banelings connecting huge with those Zerglings as S2 takes out a good pack of Zerglings. He's got his speed upgrade going as well as he harasses at the natural. Roaches are there to try to protect the best he can, but he is able to take out a few drones at the natural here of Soulkey. Tried to get the Zergling into the main as well to do some scouting, but was denied by Soulkey.
All right, so right now, it's looking pretty even, I have to say. We do have a lot of Zerglings being made by S2 here, though. That's actually a pretty huge number, and with access to the speed and Banelings, he's going to be able to easily outmaneuver Soulkey, and if Soulkey makes one little mistake here, he's just going to get completely caught out of position and potentially just lose the game to Masslings.
Now the drone count is pretty close to even. The difference, Soulkey's had his expansion up for some time. S2's finishes right now. Soulkey trying to move into the main with these roaches and lings, and burrowing are the roaches, and there are no overseers right now for S2. Not going to transform that one yet, as he keeps the roaches burrowed. Oh, now finally the overseer on the way. A little stubborn so far there from S2, but finally does try to get some detection going.
Yeah, no, the problem is these roaches, they can just continue to burrow and unburrow and slowly hack away at the Zerglings, but no. It looks like Soulkey decided to just let them kind of die off.
Infestation pit up for S2.
Looks like we're going to be seeing swarm hosts from him there.
Roaches, two of them get into the main here. At the very least, going to be able to scout what is going on. He spots the infestation pit.
Trying to use drones to fend off the two roach attack here.
Of course, he could just burrow again, but no, there is the overseer there to spot with the Zerglings taking out those final two roaches. And I don't know that Soulkey has a lair yet. Nope, no, there he is. As soon as he spots the infestation pit, able to get that lair tech going. Certainly going to need the overseer soon enough. Zerglings on their way by S2 to cause some harassment for Soulkey. He backs them off as he sees the roaches there. And now an overseer on the way once again for S2 at Soulkey's base.
Oh, and some lings actually get into Soulkey's main base. And look at this, really smart by S2, making those banelings in the corner, hiding them from his opponent, and they're going to be able to do a good amount of damage later on after they hatch when the roaches leave the main base.
And does not see those barely. 3 banelings, certainly going to be able to cause some damage, waiting for the opportune moment before he takes those in. He's got some Zerglings to attract some distraction at the front. This should be when he's taking those banelings to the back, and indeed, here he goes to the mineral line, going after a huge hit by the banelings, taking out a ton of drones.
He's got 19 total workers right now. S2 is essentially still in this game because of all of the constant harassment he's been able to do with these Zerglings, with these banelings, and now S2, he's going to start improving his swarm host count. He has 3 on the way, 1 already completed. Once he has a high swarm host count number, he's going to be able to essentially siege Soulkey's base until Soulkey gets enough units to fend them off.
And S2 now with a advantage with those swarm hosts. Let's see how he's going to use those. Meanwhile, Infestation Pit just now underway for Soulkey.
Uh-oh, I think that we're going to see Swarmhost versus Swarmhost.
Should be interesting.
So if that number gets pretty equal for both players here, think about it like Broodlord versus Broodlord battle, where the battle goes on for 5 minutes and nobody gains an inch of ground.
Certainly going to be an interesting battle we're going to see here. And a third hatchery on the way now for S2. It is spotted, however.
S2 continuing to do more and more harassment here. He just keeps getting his Zerglings in there. It reminds me of Effort. He loves to constantly do Zergling run-bys on his opponent, regardless of the race, and really use that to his advantage to try to get ahead in the economic game by really just, weakening his opponent's economy.
Roach speed is complete for Soulkey, and S2 taking out a queen that's out of place, able to take down a tumor as well. Roach is being kiting back to try to take out these locusts and putting down some swarm hosts of his own. He should be backing those roaches out. He does indeed get those locusts out in front.
Yeah, I think that S2 may need the move back a little bit with his swarm hosts right now, but no, he was able to take out his opponent's swarm host, locusts, and the roaches go down as well.
S2 with Zerglings, speed upgrade. Could be just running by, but he's going after these swarm hosts instead.
Yeah,
Locust versus Locust.
Yeah,
both players with Overseers there.
Yeah, the advantage, though, it looks like S2 has more swarm hosts than his opponent, but Soulkey, he can reinforce faster. His hatcheries are right by that natural ramp there, and that may give him an advantage in defending, but S2, he still has a high Zergling count that he can use to his advantage.
S2 leapfrogging swarm hosts forward. Soulkey starting to get his swarm host count up as well. And meanwhile, S2 expanding a fourth base while Soulkey is taking his third. Yeah. So the macro game clearly goes in favor of S2 in the long run. The longer this game continues, the more it will fall into S2's favor at the rate that we're going right now.
Yeah, and another swarm host goes down. The more swarm hosts two go down, and that's just going to make it harder and harder for Soulkey to come back into this game.
Be nice to see S2 perhaps sneak some of these Zerglings completely by. Here, he's still going after the swarm host, trying to just cut those numbers down to continue its edge. He could, of course, go into the main as another option, but he's going to continue to kite back and forth with those Zerglings.
Ironically, S2 is behind in supply, but, losing some of his swarm hosts there.
Zerglings continuing to help out. Meanwhile, Soulkey's got a pack of roaches that he's trying to sneak around, perhaps to do a counterattack with. See if he can catch S2 with his pants down. He's going to have two extra bases that he can attack that aren't going to be defended, essentially. So he's going to have an option if he knows that both bases are there.
All right, I think that S2, he has overstayed his welcome. He needs to get out of there with the swarm host, or he's going to lose all of them here.
Here is the counterattack. Meanwhile, Soulkey going to the natural. And he's taking some swarm hosts with him.
Yep, so S2 losing all of the swarm hosts there. In a real game, that would never actually happen. S2 would definitely pick up his swarm host and leave. But now, S2, he was looking like he was in a very, very commanding lead. And all of a sudden, tables have been turned. Soulkey is ahead.
S2 with 4 bases. Perhaps extending himself too thin. And now look at the number of swarm hosts pushing up for Soulkey, as he's going to have his choice of bases to attack, trying to take out that evolution chamber before it completes upgrading. And here come the swarm hosts now, a ton of them, and no answer for S2 right now with all these locusts. It looks like he's not going to have anything to defend with at all. The natural should go down with ease, perhaps the fourth base as well. He does still have his third, though. Roaches are out for S2, but too little, too late.
I think that's pretty much it for S2. He has lost his fourth base, his third base. He's lost his natural and his third base. His fourth base is online, but that the economy from that is not going to help him out at this point. There's just way too many Swarm hosts for Soulkey.
He also loses the Evolution Chamber before the upgrade's complete, but that's not even going to matter. Just with the number of Swarm hosts that are here, these roaches are easily going to be taken out by these locusts. Swarm hosts going up and down, a bit of a dance going on here by Soulkey. There's the GG as Soulkey goes on to victory, forcing a fifth and deciding set as we are indeed going to have an ace match. It was S2 jumping out to a good lead as he went for an early rush. Soulkey said, really? Really? S2 backed off. We had a bit of a match. Back and forth, entertaining, good value, but in the end, Soulkey comes out the winner.
He does. So that means we're going to be going into an ace match here between these two teams.
Who are we going to see? Second straight ace match that we're going to see today. The options, SOS, Soulkey, Zero, and Light for CJstars. Or for Captain of the Swarm, you can go Hoja, Free, Terminator, and S2. Just going back to when S2 had Soulkey pinned in his own base, essentially. He had the Zerglings that he used the Zerglings to help with the Locust to try to take out the Swarm host. I thought he could have snuck into the main, try to go after the economy with the speed Zerglings. There wouldn't have been anything in the main to defend against that, or he could have morphed a couple of Zergs to Banelings in there as well to try to hurt down his economy even more. But instead, he tried to go after the Swarm host number. I thought that was one of the turning points that could have helped out S2.
Yeah, that definitely would have been a viable option for him. I think that in S2's mind, he wanted to try to snipe off some of the Swarm hosts, but it just didn't end up working out too well for him. And then S2, he got, I think, a little, overconfident. He was like, I'm gonna get a lot of extra bases. I'm gonna focus on the economy. And then, at one point, he had a great economy, but all of his units were dead at that point. So it's like, well, now what do I do? And he couldn't do anything. That's why eventually he just got overran.
Perhaps another problem was the double expand. He expanded his third and fourth at the same time, perhaps spreading himself a little bit too thin as opposed to the number of units that he could have been producing at that time. Eventually he got overrun with the number of Swarm hosts that he had, eventually leading to the loss. But let's take a look at who might be going out as the aces of these respective teams. You can see the guys from the CJstars perhaps saying, no, I want to go out. No, I want to go out. Zero saying, who are you guys sending? Says Zero. Who's coming out? Is it you, Free? I'll take you on again.
I don't know, but Light and Terminator, I felt like that was the most entertaining match, so if either of those players come out, I'll be happy.
Well, we'll see if that is going to be the case, as it almost looks like the players are trying to decide who's going to go out rather than the coach assigning who's going to be coming out.
Maybe they'll do a little rock, paper, scissors. The loser has to go out and play the ace match.
Let's see. I'd like to see Free again. I thought we could have seen a little bit more out of him in that match, but let's see who indeed is going to be representing their representative teams. CJstars and Captain of the Swarm going to an ace match in this best 3 out of 5 semifinal. Who is it going to be? Soulkey, Zero.
It's Zero.
It is Zero, indeed.
I think he's the most popular player on their team, so I'm not incredibly surprised to send out Zero. But I'm curious to see who Captain of the Swarm is going to send out here.
Is it going to be Free again for a rematch? Perhaps.
Oh, yeah.
And is it? No.
I don't know. I'm not convinced yet.
Is it? S2?
I don't think so.
No, I don't know. S2
so.
got him thinking, really? Do you want me to go back in there? I think he saw Zero and said, no, somebody else play him. Is it? It is S2 indeed. Okay. S2 and Zero going to be meeting in the ace match of our second semifinal. Coming up in a moment. Stick around for set number 5.